Hi, everybody. I'm Meteorologist AJ Colby here in the Weather Center. Happy Hump Day, everybody. It's another hot and stuffy day here in Northeast Ohio into the 90s, dew point 70s, heat index values in the mid and upper 90s in some locations. And I think we're in for another one like that again tomorrow. Storm potential will be on the rise, and as it climbs, many of us will be dodging raindrops. Not necessarily today. There are some storm clusters out there, but nothing very widespread, nor are they organized. Let's dive into it, shall we, and see what's happening. First of all, from Doppler radar standpoint, and here are the storm clusters now showing up on radar. And looks like a little trough of low pressure running out of southern lower Michigan east of Flint down toward Detroit. And there are some storm clusters out on the west side and also south and west of Cleveland, down around, Sandusky. And some thunderstorms also rumbling away south of Vermilion. And a couple of storm clusters east of Wellington may be cropping up. We've got more substantial rain falling towards Worcester and down into Wayne County, as we mentioned. Nothing really on the east side, though. The east side is staying relatively quiet, but there you see the somewhat disjointed and disorganized storm clusters. So may want to tote the umbrella here for this evening. The potential for thundery weather will only be at about 20%, even going into the day on Thursday. Let's have a live look now from the crib cam vantage point. And you can see some puffy clouds there in the distance as we look at our fair city in the foreground. How about on the lake? Well, boaters want to, of course, keep, as always, a wary eye to the sky. South winds becoming southwest at about 5 to 10 knots. Wave action running about a foot or less. That will continue tomorrow. Southwest winds becoming northwest, and wave action once again at 1 foot or less. You can see that the water is very quiet out there off Cleveland and Cleveland Harbor. Water temperature is at 75 degrees. Here's a look at our satellite imagery and the storm clusters firing up during the heat of the day. You can see the inflamed cumulonimbus clouds begin to grow and blossom as the juice is loose here across Northeast Ohio. A lot of heat and humidity today in the 90s again. And there you can see that storm complex that rolled through parts of Illinois and Indiana, and some of those storms causing some damage last night as they grew in very unstable environment. We've got a couple of areas of concern. Again, nothing widespread in terms of severe weather, but there are some storm clusters, pretty good complex of thunderstorms bowing out into central Minnesota, west of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and down into Sioux Falls, west of Lincoln in Nebraska. Also some storms, and another cluster south of Indianapolis and Louisville currently, north of Nashville. And then it's a little bit unsettled, too, across the Northeast, Montpelier, west of Boston, and down toward New York City. So how the maps shape up, there's a pretty helter-skelter setup in the weather systems. You can see they're disorganized and disjointed. Little trough of low pressure is just enough to get some thundery weather here going tonight into the overnight hours, but that trough begins to collapse. There will be some leftover outflow boundaries from these thunderstorms as they collapse, so they act like little miniature fronts, and sometimes they can lift into a healthy thunderstorm that can rain out and give some thirsty backyards a bit of a drink, and they need it, that's for sure. There is a developing low out over the Plain States, the Hawkeye state of Iowa, with low pressure and a trailing cold front, warm front out ahead of it. That warm front tomorrow morning starts to nudge northeast. Could it become active? Not completely out of the question. We're going to put in a 20 to 30% probability of precipitation for Thursday. Higher chances for rain Friday and unfortunately into Saturday. But there is a silver lining to the weekend. The second half of the weekend right now might be a little bit better. Tomorrow night, you can see that storm system approaches. So Thursday night, overnight into Friday morning, there is going to be potential for some showery, thundery weather. There's Friday morning's map, and you can see the center of low pressure just heading toward Detroit and north of about Toledo. Friday evening, that low moves into Cleveland, so we'll be increasing the threat for rain and storms during the day on Friday. Here's Futurecast radar and one particular computer model showing by Thursday late into early Friday there are some storm clusters. And then Friday afternoon, there are also some storms lining up along that frontal boundary as it makes inroads into northeast Ohio. Dew point levels will remain high, so it will be extremely uncomfortable. Put out plenty of water for your pets, for the animals, because it's going to be another hot one. Heat index values will be well into the 90s to maybe even nearly 100 degrees on Thursday. So that is something about which you should have some concern. Certainly, heat is nothing to fool around with. And pets and the elderly, of course, suffer the most. So check on your neighbor in the heat of the day. Forecast for tonight, warm and muggy. A spotty shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out. You saw some of those clusters showing up on radar. 73, sundown at 8:45. For tomorrow, hot and stuffy. There is a slight chance for showers and thunder. That will be picking up through the afternoon and especially overnight tomorrow night into Friday. That appears to be the highest probability of precipitation. High of 92, so another day in the 90s. Southwest winds might freshen a little in the northwest, but when it's hot like that, it's even a little air motion doesn't really help too much, unfortunately. Here's a look at the extended outlook now, taking us into the weekend. And as promised, it doesn't look super spectacular in terms of 100% dry weather for us. Saturday, not as hot, though, so there's some good news. After mid-80s for highs on Friday, 70 at night. We're in the low 80s on Saturday. A little bit of a rebound in the temperature on Sunday. The payoff will be bright sunshine, a gorgeous day, really. Nice looking summer day there. 85 on Monday, seasonal day. Mostly sunny to sunny skies, and the high temperature 82. We welcome the month of August tomorrow, so we're headed into the first weekend of August. How about that? Boy, the summer is just cooking and flying on by, isn't it? My goodness. Stay safe out there, everybody. As always, appreciate you stopping by. Here from the AJ Colby Weather Center, I am meteorologist AJ Colby, and have a great night.